public servant bless. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. And while you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
A pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Over to You, a program for the people, by the people. Welcome to all those on the ground in Guyana. Welcome to those in North America. All right, in the EU, yes, France, all across the world. Welcome, broader Caribbean. Welcome to the program. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very, I can't even say cool in the northeast of the United States and Canada today. It is extremely cool. But nevertheless, welcome to the broadcast. Feel free to grab your little soda pop and your popcorn because we are going to be popping this evening. All right. You guys can go ahead, share the link, like tonight's broadcast. Remember, Over to You is a program for the people, by the people. This program was created by the people. It was built by you guys right here. All right. I'm going to give it another 10 to 15 seconds, and then I'll go ahead and I'll do tonight's roll call, just giving everybody an opportunity to get in on time so that I can check your name as being here. I hope that each and every one of you is having a pretty good weekend thus far. All right. So let's go ahead and get kicking with our roll call for this evening. And we start off with Miss Siobhan McDonald. A pleasant good evening to you, Miss McDonald. And look, for all of our listeners and viewers here, especially the YouTube viewers, where Siobhan is always on YouTube. Yesterday, she would have celebrated her birthday. She did give me a call. I should have been the one giving her a call, but she did give me a call, and we had a nice little conversation. So to Miss McDonald, again, a happy birthday to you. All right. Mr. Victor Ben, good to see you here, our first Canadian in the house. Good to see you, sir. You're at the top of the line this evening from the Canadian house. Miss Sandra Hanover, the freedom fighter, she's in the house. Good evening to you. Aileen Norton, it's good to see you. Miss Ann John, I see your two eyes there. It shows that you're looking in. Thank you for being here this evening. Miss Rhonda Spencer Tom, good to see you. And good evening to you. Miss Mary Figueroa, our second Canadian, is in the house. Miss Yvonne Rodriguez, good night to one and all. Yvonne, I believe that you are on the ground in Barbados. You will let me know if I'm wrong. Miss Pam Halls, a pleasant good evening to you. Nav Joe, good to see you, sir. Miss Rhonda Tuesday, a pleasant good evening to you also. Miss Corinne Dornick, it's always good to see you. And yes, all greetings to you too, Miss Dornick. Miss Desiree Smart Felix, this is our third Canadian in the house by way of New Amsterdam. It's a pleasure having you on the broadcast here with us this evening. Sandra Sargent, good to see you and a pleasant good evening to you. Miss Deslyn Wilson, by way of Victoria, it's always a pleasure having you here. Miss Lorraine Beat, good to see you. Miss Faye Vermalson, good to see you. Tessa Lane Eastman, pleasure seeing you and good evening to you. Miss Marcia Jackman, a pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to the broadcast. Miss Audrey Brown, it's always a pleasure having you here. Good evening. Miss Dawn Wilson, welcome to the broadcast. Miss Susan London, welcome to the broadcast and good evening to you. Miss Hazel Johnson, yes, it's a pleasure seeing you here and good evening to you. Miss Jacqueline Johnson, hey, the Johnson thing keep rolling along. Good evening to you, Miss Jacqueline Johnson. Miss Fidel Albert, good to see you. Welcome to the broadcast. Elizabeth Gordon, good to see you. Welcome to the broadcast. Don Sampson, good to see you. Ewart Eastman, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. Karen Clark, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. Lavon C. Caldor, welcome to the broadcast. Mr. Jason Benjamin, it's good to see you. Welcome to the broadcast. Catherine McNeil, welcome to the broadcast. Annette Gordon, good to see you. Thomas Brown, good to see you. Good evening and welcome. Ashmain Saran, welcome to the broadcast. All right. Elaine Schroeder, good to see you. Maxine Monroe, always a pleasure. Good to see you, Miss Monroe. Loretta Peters Nicholson, good to see you. Ann Fraser, good to see you. Harris Mark, good evening, good evening, good evening. Everyone, if I didn't call your name. Hepsi G.A. Mohammed, welcome to the broadcast. Savitri Rose, welcome, welcome, welcome. Everyone, if I miss your name, I am so sorry. Marna Saul, Beverly Bovell, Claire Capel, Donna Holder, Lester Tom, welcome, 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 everyone. Allison Sam, welcome. Paula Mattis, welcome, welcome. Highlighter Hardcore, good to see you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So we are anticipating the second meeting of the 13th Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And this second meeting of the 13th Parliament was first prepared and scheduled for Monday, the 20th day of January, 2026. All right. This sitting was to announce the 2026 annual budget. All right. And as many of us would have understood, the PPP was going ahead unilaterally announcing the budget without an opposition leader being in place. But there was a lot of pressure. Let's first start off by the APNU. Yes, they were pressing very hard. The Win Party started pressing. The Forward Guyana movement started pressing. Everybody started pressing the PPP. And then, of course, social media pressured them tremendously. We always do. We are always on top of our business. All right, then the diplomatic community started pressing them. So it was pressure all around. And you guys know the saying, right? Pressure does bust pipe. All right. So the pipe bust. And the speaker came out and set the time at tentatively 10 a.m. Monday morning. All non-government MPs will be assembling to vote for a leader of the opposition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is consequences with how people vote, and we're already seeing it, right? We're already seeing it. Right? On this program, we are going to be very straight up, or at least I am going to be very straight up with what I have to say. All right, there's not going to be any holding back. As you guys see, I never hold back on the program, right? We bring issues to the forefront. As far as I'm concerned, I have a 5-year shelf life in politics. That meaning I'm here for this cycle, and I have to be as effective as possible, right? I am not going to go with the premise that I am here on Bench Up Radio 107.1 FM and I want to be here all the time. No, we are here to get things done. We are here to make sure that Guyana is moving forward. We're not here to play. We're not here to play favoritism. Okay? So we got to hit it where we know that we're going to be effective and we are going to be able to move things when it comes to the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Remember, we are now sitting in a nation that have a 60% poverty rate, all right? And our democracy is being eroded. Our constitution is being eroded, okay? So that's the basis for our approach, right? And in our approach, bumps are going to raise. Let's just be honest. We cannot would have had a losing formula in place and continue with the same losing formula. So that we're going to be discussing later in the program. All right. We're going to be discussing that later in the program. Now, when APNU seems to bring proposals to the table, a lot of the time it was APNU alone. They were not backed by WIN. Right? So to all the WIN supporters, I want to say this. What is good for the goose has to be good for the gander. If you guys didn't back APNU, do not expect APNU to back you. You don't have the right to force APNU to do anything. That party, and the PNC is the largest party in APNU. They've been around for 70 plus years, man. You can't force that party to do anything. All right? You're new. You're the new kids on the block. Right? And when you're new, you got to come and you got to blend in. And you got to figure out ways how to be effective. Right? You have to figure, not because you have 16 seats in parliament. That means that you're a dominant force. No, those 12 seats, the number is smaller. But you're talking about, for the most part, 12 intellectuals. They can dominate you because they have so much parliamentary experience. All right, so there should be nobody forcing anybody. If WIN has an agenda that they want to put before the parliament, discuss it with APNU, you all come together as a collective, you all agree, and you all put forth the agenda, and you all vote towards it. Make it nice and smooth. Make the process nice and smooth. All right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we go into this whole thing of opposition leader, let me be pellucidly clear. All right? The PPP want to call out and shout out the WIN people, you know, oh, y'all shouldn't vote for Azruddin Mohammed to be the leader of the opposition and all this kind of nonsense. Well, we're dealing with fundamentals here. You didn't know that when Irfan Ali with his 19 fraud charges were there, the DPP dropped those charges or suspended those charges so that Irfan Ali can be president of Guyana. Okay? President is a way higher position than opposition leader. So PPP, to you guys, if you were able to do that, what exempts, what stops the WIN party from putting their leader? They have 16 seats. Right? They have 16 seats. What better is Irfan Ali than Azruddin Mohammed? They are one and the same. Azruddin Mohammed is a former member of the PPP. Why are you guys so upset? Because here you have one of your members now that just don't like what you guys are doing. To a point. And maybe to a point he's protecting himself also. That's okay. I'm not going to get into that. But the fact of the matter is that the Guy party would have won 16 seats. And with 16 seats, there is no way from stopping him from being the leader of the opposition. All right? Don't worry with all that stuff that your Minister Susan Rodriguez would have said. That he's responsible or he needs to discuss with the people about those 2 murders. The people have not asked him about that 2 murders. They didn't consider that when they voted for him. Right? They got to examine their own morals. Not me. I'm not here to examine their morals. All right? I'm not here to do that. Like I said, people bumps are going to raise. That's fine. That's okay with me. But the truth must be told. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, over the head of Irfaan Ali and on the head of the PPP party, we can put an asterisk right there. Because we believe that Irfaan Ali is the epitome of incompetence. Okay? And based on the fact that he had those 19 fraud charges, that's where I put the asterisk there. Now the Win Party has become a significant player. Right? And I have said it on nomination day. That I saw a red wave, a green wave, and a blue wave. So this party is surreal. Once you have people and you have the masses, it's surreal. 109,000 Guyanese voted for Win. So 109,000 people can't vote for a party and it's not a party. It's nothing. Let's be realistic, right? Let's be realistic. Now, that being said, here you have a candidate in Azzuddin Mohammed, who you have a sitting minister in the PPP government is pointing at him and saying that he needs to discuss those 2 murders, amongst other things, right? She's saying this. Susan Rodriguez got to understand, it's that the PPP are the ones that are in government. So if this guy did kill or order the death of one person and another person was murdered, then is it that you guys are withholding information from the public? Because Azzuddin Mohammed was part and parcel with the PPPC and would have quote unquote donated $100 million to the 2020 campaign. I'm just asking. But anyhow, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, over the head of the Win Party, over the Win logo, we have to also put an asterisk there for Azzuddin Mohammed, right? Because there's an ongoing case, right? The sanctions are for real, right? There are suspended cases in Guyana that even if we don't want to suspended charges in Guyana, that even if we don't want to take those serious, we have to take the international charges and sanctions seriously. So we got to put an asterisk there. Now, when it comes to APNU, when has APNU pushed out an incompetent person? And I'm not going to say that I'm not saying directly that Azzuddin Mohammed is incompetent, because if he seeks the right counsel, he can end up doing just fine. But when we look at characters, we have Corbyn, clean. Hoyt, clean. LFS Borno. David Granger, what a gentleman. Aubrey C. Norton. You don't have anything on Comrade Norton. You don't have no U.S. sanctions. You don't get stopped in the airports. He can travel to any country he wants to, right? So when we look at the heading over the APNU, it's blank. There's no asterisk there. They haven't given us one of those. And I don't expect that we'll see anything like that from the APNU because of the line of candidates that I've seen them have in place there. The possible candidates I've seen them have in place there. So, ladies and gentlemen, essentially what I'm saying to you guys when it comes to morals and values and ethics, okay? Rule of law, respecting rule of law, and overall tardiness. I'm not promoting the APNU here, but they're head and shoulders above everyone else. Head and shoulders. Let me not leave out the Forward Guyana movement, because in the Honorable Amanzo Walton this year and Comrade Nigel London, there you have two clean individuals also. They are not linked to anything. And to the extent that the VPAC guys are still in there with them, they're not linked to anything either. So people across Guyana, they need to really examine themselves. How long are we going to continue with this, with the PPP? All right. I am seeing that efforts are being made by the APNU and WIN party to try to come together and work together in Parliament also with the Forward Guyana movement and the Liberty and Justice Party with the Honorable Simona Brooms and the AFC and these other parties who do not have members in Parliament, but should definitely be a part of the discussion. Because they are like minds. So they should be included. The PPP must be challenged. The PPP must be challenged. We got to, look, these opposition parties have to keep the pressure on. We have to get into this mood and into the attitude and into the mindset that we have to restore our democracy. We have to restore our constitution. And in restoring that constitution, it must be restored with reforms. Our constitution needs reforming. This is not the 60s. We need a constitution that reflects the modern day. We need a constitution that is respected. And if we are calling ourselves a democracy, we must see democracy being displayed at all levels of government. The executive, the judiciary, and the parliamentary level. Because it's these three levels of government that really sets the tone. And look, ladies and gentlemen, if you want your constitution to be respected, you have to put credible people into the high-level positions. You don't have to be the smartest, but you must understand your scope. You must understand the scope of your duties, and you must have an appetite to work for the people and work for the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Ladies and gentlemen, where is the nation building under the PPP? Where is the nation building under the PPP? There is no proper rules of engagement with the opposition from the PPP. There's no engagement whatsoever. How is that? How can you call yourself a democracy when you are not engaging the opposition? And I'll tell you guys something. The PPP has no respect for the intellectual abilities of Mr. Azruddin Mohammed. I can tell you that right now. Like the VP said, he cannot string together two coherent sentences. I'm not going to say that Azruddin Mohammed cannot string together two coherent sentences. But I am just regurgitating and quoting what the Vice President Barry Jagdeo would have said with regards to Mr. Azruddin Mohammed's abilities. So therefore, again, I'm going to say this again, because some people don't understand. Right? You just got to talk like 10 times to get some people to understand. When Azruddin Mohammed and the WIN team tables, they bring to table any issue to discuss, or they table any issues to be discussed, they need to run it by APNU and make sure that they have APNU's blessing. Because if, I'm telling you guys this, there is nothing that the WIN party could table themselves and the PPP respect. They will not. They will not. Let me be honest with you. The PPP does not want the WIN party there. They don't want the WIN party there. But I'm going to say this. I remember, I can't remember the exact program I was sitting on, but I was sitting on a panel. It may have been Straight Up, or it may have been Mr. John C. Paul. I am regurgitating it. I am quoting the Vice President. And I'm using his words as an example. And as I'm preempting here that they will not respect Azruddin Mohammed. All right? He would need backing from APNU. I'm telling you this. I am telling you this straight up. Right? They will not respect him because they don't look at him as an intellectual. They don't look at him as a smart person. Let's be honest. All right? Let's be honest. That does not mean that he cannot be successful, though. I'm not saying that he will not be successful. But he has to have a good strategy when it comes down to rule of engagement. He has 16 seats. The entire opposition has 29 seats. Whenever he tables an issue, okay, or something to be addressed, he needs all 29 seats on board with him. All 29. Right? That's why it's important that he engages the APNU. And vice versa. If the APNU have something that they want to table, they should engage the WIN party to make sure that they have those 16 seats voting with them. So essentially, when we look at the bottom line, same thing with the Forward Guyana movement. Essentially, when we look at the bottom line, all of these parties need to be working hand in hand. Okay, that's the only way they're going to be successful. Hand in hand. All right? Hand in hand. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's keep going here. Dennis Booker, remember they were all in the same barrel and knew each other's business. So what do you expect? Yeah. Yeah, Miss Booker, you're correct. Miss Booker, you're correct. They were all in the same barrel and knew each other's business. You're correct, Miss Booker. But also the PPP were able to use their resources and also lord over some of the politicians from up. No, the PPP used their resources, they used the money that was available to them and everything. Look, they could not have tried harder to destroy APNU that last 5-year cycle. They could not have tried harder. They used the money, and to be honest with you, they used it well because they were able to lure quite a few people. Those people didn't just cross. Some of them say that they cross the aisle because of fundamental reason. Utter lies. Utter lies. They would have all received some measure of compensation for what they would have done. And these are the type of politicians that the electorate needs to weed out. Okay? Weed out. Write to your party and you tell them, if you do not get rid of this person, we are not voting for you, period. Period. You cannot have a set of crooks at the top of government just ripping off the Guyanese people. Every time you put people in power, you put the next group of individuals to get rich. In the case of the 2025 elections, you put the same people to even get wealthier. In this cycle, Guyanese, we cannot continue to accept this. We cannot. I beg you guys to not continue accepting mediocrity, because that's what it is. Utter mediocrity. Now, it's gonna get touchy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick look at the PNCR, the largest party in the APNU. All right? The election would have concluded some maybe 4.5 months ago, or what? September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, close to 4.5 months. We're getting there. All right? I have not heard or seen any documentation of a clear vision for the PNCR. Remember, this party it should be about 70 plus years old. I don't know the exact number. I didn't look it up, but I believe, based on what I'm being told mentally up here, it's about 70 something years old. All right? The 2025 elections. And look, I am not in a position that I can say that the election was rigged. You understand me? Right? Because I'll be contradicting the leader of the opposition. Because the leader of the opposition would have said if the elections were rigged, there would be consequences. I have not seen any consequences. So therefore, I cannot assume that the election was rigged, which I know most of you are of the belief that the elections were rigged. But we got to keep our mouth sealed, because if the hierarchy of the party is not saying that the elections was rigged, how can we? How can we? Yes, Sandra Hanover. Yes, everybody. Share this live. Share this live. Because Over to You is going to become serious over the next couple of weeks. All right? We're going to ask very tough and fundamental questions. Right? We're going to ask some really tough questions of everyone. All right? To the win party, y'all do y'all homework. Because what's good for the goose is going to be good for the gander. I know how to deal with this. So now you guys got to deal with it. All right? There must be movements. Ain't nobody coming in to sit down. We're not coming in to sit down. We are going to edify, at least on my program. This program, our program here, Over to You. We are going to edify the Guyanese people. We're going to share this program. We're going to edify and prepare the Guyanese people to throw out all the garbage. That's what we're doing. Anything that is garbage, we dumping. We don't want no waste around us. We ain't carrying around no weight. You ain't performing, you're out. Next person. Right? A lot of people like to come into these high-level positions and just sit down. You have a duty to serve the people. You fight your way into leadership. When you're in leadership, you got to execute. Look, here, ladies and gentlemen, when you're in leadership, you could never see the people enough, and the people can never see you enough. You have to be visible. It is mandatory that you're visible. How are you going to be able to sell your vision? Being a leader is about selling. You have to sell. You have a vision in place. You have to sell it. You can't say, oh, this is what we're going to do, and you go back in your office and sit down. This is about consistency. The electorate in seeing you. This is about bringing a measure of confidence in the people. When I talk to people, people say, Wayne, I'm not motivated. If the people are not motivated, I mean, y'all have work to do. Listen, in 2025, regional and general elections, you tried a formula. The formula did not work. Right? And look, I am just going based on what the opposition leader have not come out and said that the elections were rigged. So it is fair for me to say that the formula did not work. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, if you try a formula and it did not work, what do you have to do? And you guys are brilliant. I know you guys gonna turn to me and say, Wayne, whoop-de-doo, we gotta change the formula. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. All right? And we gotta get accustomed to this. There got a lot of us, we don't like change. You understand me? And if we do not change that formula, and if we do not make some drastic changes in the PNCR, all right, it ain't gonna be 12 seats next time. It's gonna be less. That is facts. That is facts based on what the people are saying. We could like individuals. There's nothing wrong with liking individuals. But your love for an individual cannot continue to affect the trajectory of the masses. This is about bringing satisfactory to Guyanese on a macro level, not a micro level, on a macro level. This call for deeper thought by leaders. This call for deeper thought by the groups within the PNC that is vote for the leaders. You have to examine yourself. You have to examine the electorate. Yes, you may like somebody, but is that person electable? Is that person going to change the trajectory of Guyana? Look, man, I like everybody. I like Comrade Norton. I believe he's a clean individual. But he was a part of the formula. He's a good guy. He's not corrupt. But the people didn't come out and vote for him. And I got to say this to the electorate also. Many of you voted money. Let me be frank. I'm not going to just come and call out the leaders. Many of you voted money. Your vote was bought. Right? Which is a demonstration of low morals. Low morals, weak morals. You don't have it. You didn't display. You never let your morals take control. You never allow your morals to take control. You allow your yearning for the dollar to control where your vote went. And with that comes consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, look how Guyanese are dying all across the country. Look at the young lady that just jumped from the window at the Georgetown Public Hospital. I'm tired. I am tired. You know, our people has got to do better. We've got to do better. The PPP is pathetic. We know that. They're weak. They're incompetent. And every time they're unwilling to engage. And every time, ladies and gentlemen, every day that we live like this, is 900,000 barrels of oil out. Every day we live like this. Every day. All the leaders across all parties, y'all are failing the Guyanese people. This is a time that we should have all come together and looking to do what's best for Guyana. Politics in Guyana and racism, they go hand in hand. We allow racism to shape our policies in Guyana. Imagine that. We allow racism to shape our policies in Guyana. Goodness gracious, it's 2026. Barry Jagdee on the PPP. Because you guys are chief battle washers when it comes to racism. You are. It's proven. Don't look at the African Guyanese. Because the African Guyanese, more than 65, 70%, maybe 80% of the Win Party is Africans backing an East Indian leader. So don't look at them. Don't look at them. Do not look at the people of African ethnicity in Guyana. Don't look at them. They are always willing to cooperate and work with people. We know what slavery feels like. Slavery run in our blood. Whippings and lynchings run in our blood. We don't want that for anybody. We are not capable of enslaving anybody. We're not capable. Look, on over to you, we're going to talk the thing. All right? We're going to talk the thing. I'm going to piggyback to the PNCR. I'm going to go back to the PNCR. You guys got to straighten up yourself. All right? You got to straighten up yourself. And you got to stop chasing people. You got to stop chasing people. You got to make your party once again attractive. You got to make your party attractive, man. You got to stop holding grudges. And ladies and gentlemen, you might want to know why I'm saying this. You know why I'm saying this? Because I have not seen, what's the guy? I have not seen Royce Ford at the forefront of anything for the PNCR. I say this to the entire leadership of the PNC, the elders and everybody. Y'all need to get y'all acts together. Y'all really need to get your acts together. Look, the PNCR constitution says that if you are a high-level individual in the party, you can run for leadership. What's happening to Royce Ford is not not good. It's not good. Here you have one of the best attorneys at law. He has represented that party in so many cases pro bono. And you take him and roll him up under the mat. We have to do better. We cannot hold grudges. There's a bigger picture out there. There's a bigger picture, and that bigger picture is to remove the PPP. And that bigger picture is to go back to earning 30-something seats at elections as opposed to 12. Are people still sleeping in the PNC? Wake up, guys. It's only 12 seats. That's all you earn. That should be a wake-up call. That you're not connecting right now with the electorate. And you know the reason for that is because you've been inconsistent. I recall last year I'm calling all the time. When are we going to get out there? The PPP is always in campaign mode. In a way, they do have the finances behind them to do that. They do. But let me tell you something. The APNU can find ways to get their finances. There is a lot of people that like the APNU. I'm going to say this to Mr. Norton, Comrade Norton, as leader of the opposition. Do not look past people because of grudges and these type of things. Look at the best possible candidate who can win you an election. Don't just put somebody there because there is somebody else there who can actually do better, but you feel like if that person would have shaded you. All right? That's not leadership. That is not leadership. That's getting very personal. You guys notice when we have elections in the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, they are primaries. And then when the primaries are over, everybody get together. Ms. Deborah Payson, I understand. You're saying that they are still against Mr. Norton. But here, what's my thing? Mr. Norton was a part of the last formula, and it was the worst performance in the history of the PNCR. So what are we gonna do? I'm gonna do some surveys on this program because I want to know if you guys want to stay with the same formula. Look, I don't have a problem. It's the people who are going to determine. But here, you cannot choose your formula, and then when your formula coming up short, you're crying foul. You have to put yourself somewhere or the other into a winning position. How are you going to do so? How are you going to do so? It's so much going on internally. How are you going to do so? Like I told you before, guys, you see, I'm willing to come out here and take the chance and have people curse me. That's fine. That is all good and everything. But as long as I'm doing programs and as long as I'm here, I'm going to bring you guys the truth. I'm going to open up these discussions so that we can look very deep inside of what's happening here. We need to look deeply. Stop looking at the surface. Let's look deep. Let's go down deep. It cannot be business as usual. If it's business as usual with the PNCR, I personally will ask other people to go ahead and form other parties. Because this is not good. This is not good. Ms. Lachman Aziz, my good friend, with all due respect, Mr. Norton must be given a fair chance to lead. Ms. Lachman Aziz, I believe a fair chance is what a leader makes it. All right? Look, anyone can call me and speak and we can have a conversation. Okay? I believe that leaders need to open up their ears and they need to be excellent listeners. All right? Look, the last cycle was a whole 5 years. If you're telling me that we should wait another 5 years for Mr. Norton to be given a fair chance, I don't believe you can't ask the public to give anybody a fair chance. Look, and besides, you're asking for Mr. Norton to have a fair chance. Ms. Lachman Aziz, is a great question, but it's a question that Mr. Norton should be reaching out to the voting public, asking them for a fair chance. That should be done now to see if the feelings of the people will change. Not for us to wait until election time and then we're finishing second or third again. And the PPP is laughing, the PPP ministers are laughing their ways with sack full of monies to the bank. People are saying people need to get on the ground. I agree. Look, Palo Alto Remember the Palo Altos? Excellent point. You know, and I'm glad you bring up this point, remember the Palo Altos, because this aligned with exactly what I'm saying. And Flash Gordon, I see you here tonight and it's good. I am not blaming. No, Flash. No. No. If I'm going to blame Aubrey Norton for anything, I would say that the job promoting the vision of his party, all right, was poorly done to me. You can't wait until the last 3 months to say you really coming out and pushing your vision. You can't. You're at a disadvantage financially, amongst other things, Flash. You cannot. You got to be in people's face all the time. This comes with leadership. You're getting a salary or a stipend as leader of the opposition. You got to be out there executing. I see people along all the social media programs, them complaining about not seeing the leader, about seeing late responses to bell the cat when it comes to the PPP. Flash, we got to stand up better than this. We can't just sit down and talk. We got to stand up better than this. Your sister, Miss Rhonda Lane, she's been out there at GCOM for that 5-year cycle. Horn, Kadaki, Amsterdam, and others formulate that very small group that was out there fighting for a new voters list. That should have been a macro fight where Mr. Norton bring out all his supporters. Nobody never supported them. It was never something massive that were able to shut down a few streets. That's to show that people were satisfied with the democracy that they had there, which was no democracy whatsoever. The PPP controlled the GCOM organ. They controlled it. Here we are, Mr. Flash Gordon. We are in another 5-year cycle here, with the same leader at the helm of the PPP and the same leader at the helm of APNU. Where it is that we are addressing a brand new voters list and biometrics to come to accompany that list. Look, ladies and gentlemen, look, all I'm trying to say is that we cannot sit here passively and don't pose questions. We must have questions. We must ask questions. And Flash, when you say to me if I'm blaming Mr. Norton, that means that you are looking at this from an individual perspective. But Flash, what about the masses? What about the 58% of Guyanese that are living in poverty? What about the 32 to 37% of Guyanese that are living in extreme poverty? What about them? And I also turn to those same people who are living in poverty. And I say to you, why are you not supporting the APNU? Why are you not? Don't you one day want to be living with prosperity instead of poverty? Remember the Palo Altos. I was going to touch on something that you just said. I'm getting old. I can't wait another 5 years for positive change. I agree with you. Remember the Palo Altos. I agree with you 1,000,000%. And that is exactly my fight here. I got a lot of people that I like a lot. Dr. David Hines, Dr. Vincent Adams, the Honorable Mr. Winston Jordan. And these guys, they're not getting younger, and they can help. They can help us on a national level because these guys got national type education, international type education, I mean. And they can help us on an international level. The PPP is shutting them out. So we are not able to develop our country the way we would like it to be developed. Guyana should have been far along at this point. Look at where we are. We don't even have proper running water. We don't have proper health care. Flickering lights. And yes, they did a few buildings. They put up a few buildings. One of the largest buildings is a police station. We got to do better. Like I said, I know that I'm going to come under criticism. I know that I'm going to be attacked. But this is not for me. This is for the people, all the people of Guyana. All. I'm not playing y'all ethnic game. I'm not playing y'all ethnic game, PPP. I'm not. And to the East Indians who continue to vote PPP and watch y'all government oppress and suppress poor Indians, and for the most part, the Africans, I say this to you. The shoe is going to one day be on the other feet. And I hope that you guys don't go and cry foul. For all of you that are out there getting rich on the Guyanese people money, it doesn't matter how much 15-foot fences that you put up. You see this program here? It's on YouTube. It's not going anywhere. Generations to come is going to get an opportunity to look at it. All right? And what may not happen to you, you might make happen to your children. What may not happen to you for the atrocities that you're committing against the Guyanese people may happen to your children. Keep doing what you're all doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Ethnic Relations Commission, y'all don't look. Don't write me. Don't write me. Period. Don't write. You know I don't play. Don't write me. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. Let's continue. Thank you, Miss Hazel Johnson. Yeah, let's call the shots as we see it. Right? I'm not here to be a hypocrite. I'm here to be honest. I'm going to tell the truth. Like I said, always going to tell the truth. Stephen Richard Barmfield, thank you. Thank you. And Don Sampson, yes, I agree with you. The ERC is a waste of time. The ERC is garbage. Yes, I said that. The ERC was conveniently put there, you understand me, to attack voices of dissent. I always set my bases before I say what I have to say. The bases are always set. So you guys see where I'm coming from. Cheryl Sampson, I got your point. Guyana is a dictatorship, you're correct. But you want to tell you something, Miss Sampson? You want to tell you something? A dictatorship doesn't just show up like that. All right? It is something that grows. It's like a growth. If you don't take care of it, it just grows. You see those 23 years? As long as I am doing programs, I am going to always go back to those 23 years because I still can't figure out how the PPP were able to stay in government for 23 years. All right? And some kind of crookery had to be going on the side of the opposition for the PPP to stay there for 23 years. Right? That's why I came to the position that in order to have a fair democracy in Guyana, we need to have more than two mass parties because two can work together. Two can work together to keep people oppressed and suppressed. I didn't expect the third force to be win, but Azruddin Mohammed bite on the option. He bit on it. And it worked for him. Miss Morvit Duncan, or Mr. or Morvit Duncan, Mr. Morvit Duncan. Mr. Morvit Duncan. I'm not crying over spilled milk, Mr. Duncan, but what I would say, all right, is that we need to see changes, Mr. Duncan. If we see changes, 2030 gonna come and we're gonna be sitting in the same thing. And you know it's always, you know what, look, when you talk about changes, Mr. Duncan, you know it's always the excuse, sir. We have time. There's nothing that we have, there's nothing like we have time. You need to start executing right now. The PPP is already in campaign mode. They're already thinking about 2030 candidates already. Come on, man. We cannot always be reactive. When are we going to get on the front foot and be proactive and put the PPP on the back foot? When? You know, as a leader, you can't, look, you can't say you go in your bed at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the night, you know. You got things to do. One thing I could tell you have to do. You could sit down and you could study how you going to get these 58% of people that are living in poverty in Guyana out of it. The other thing you should be figuring out, how you going to get on the ground and educate our youths, man. Have you guys not been seeing in the news how many youths are dying? Who ain't getting gunned down? We got some serious issues in Guyana, man. Some real serious issues. And these issues are really massive distractions. It's serious. We might end up being one of the oldest countries as far as age of our people, because all the young ones are dying out. We got to get back to basics, man. We got to get back to the family. And we got to build from there. Congress Place need to have functions every weekend. That leader need to be on the ground meeting and greeting people. Especially if your intention is to continue being leader of a party. You can't be missing in action. And then when you finish, you want to present yourself as a leader. One press conference a week is not good enough. Are we not seeing what's going on? Nobody wants to say anything. That's undermining the people. That's undermining the electorate. We got to perform, man. We got to perform. This party is a historical party, man. This party is a macro institution, man. 2025 was the worst performance ever by this party. What I would have expected to see is robust moves to recover from that disaster that was 2025. That was a disaster by PNCR standards. And it also showed that the electorate was fed up. We have to do better. We have to do better. We have to, the leader has to come out more. Ms. Lachman Aziz, because of victimization of our party members, you're making some points. You're making some good points, but look, I'm going to say this. The PNC have not even created a situation that their overseas supporters can safely come into Guyana and support them. Okay? Whether it is the ego of some of the leaders in the party, right? If overseas people are coming in, they're coming in to support you. They're coming in to support you. They ain't coming in to run for anything. You should put the pieces together and have plans in place to protect them and let them come down and be on your rallies and stuff. That's going to be good, man. That would have been really, really good for you. Sometimes people don't want to hear the same old thing from the same old people. All right? Like the people are saying, we want to be motivated. Mr. Norton, I'm not telling you what to do. But man, we got to put some more energy. We got to bring some more energy. We got to bring some more enthusiasm, man. Colin Barwell is saying that the army, any crookery that takes place in the elections need black actors to be successful. It's why I am saying we are our own downfall, bro. Colin is looking at this from an ethnic perspective, partially here. And he's right. I don't know if it is that the African leaders has failed the people, maybe after Desmond Hoyt, has failed the people in some way. But I can tell you this, the people are tired. And 2030 is not too far from now. We need to put together solutions. This is what this is about. And guys, I'm telling you this. There's a lot of things that I can possibly help with, but I wouldn't be allowed to help with it because of what I said tonight. You understand me? That is what we're about. That is what the politics on this side of the fence is about. And until that don't change, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're going to settle for second and third place. You can't come 6 months, a year out from elections and say, but oh, I going to win this. We're going to get some momentum and we going to... That's laziness. That's laziness. You ain't winning anything. It's laziness. I don't care what you all say. It's laziness. People need to be, look, you can't talk about the PPP and people on your side can't speak freely. Right? You can't, look. Ladies and gentlemen, 13 minutes after 8 p.m. in the US, 13 minutes after 9 in Guyana. Okay? All right. I'm getting a call. Let me just check to see who's calling. Hold on. Wayne Caesar. You're not trying to come on, right? Well, all right, we're in the middle of the program now, so I believe you're gonna have to come on as my guest next weekend if you want us to address some of these matters, or if you just want to take a 2 or 3 minutes, I can give you that. But more, I wouldn't be able to. Next week, good, fine. All right. All right, let me get back. All right, good. All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. That was just Brother Israel wanted to give some perspectives, but we're coming up on closing time here for this evening. Rick for the PPP and she. Look, Colin Barwell is saying, I have a friend who said his sister was offered 25,000 to rake for PPP. See? Here's what I'm talking about. But Colin, you know something? Let's touch on this a little bit more. We got 15 minutes. You know something? The efforts to get a new list was very weak and futile. All right? And I gotta say this. Big thanks to Miss Rhonda Lane and Brother Kidaki Amsterdam. They just didn't have the numbers to penetrate. The numbers wasn't numbers to penetrate. It wasn't penetratable with those numbers that they had. But you can't question their effort and their resolve. There's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. As a leader, you have to be able to look at things. You got to be able to understand your people and what they are doing. Right? I believe that everybody should have been rallying behind Miss Rhonda Lane and Brother Kidaki. I believe that they started a good movement. Right? Imagine we're already at 2026, January 24th, and we are not addressing a new voters list. As we start creeping in, look, we're going to go into local government, right, coming up, and we're going in with the same list. The people did the census since the census was conducted since 2022. The PPP now put out results there. I don't trust the results. The results is garbage to me. You can't conduct a census since 2022 and you're now giving us results. That's an embarrassment. Okay? That's an embarrassment. All right? Again, I want to say many pluses, many thanks to those 12 MPs working for APNU in Parliament, and especially to the Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Sharma Solomon, who would have brought to the attention the Linden to Kokwani road. That the PPP is now moving expeditiously to correct and do the right thing. All right? The Linden to Kokwani road is atrocious. All right? It's not the kind of road that you expect to see in a country that is quote unquote the fastest growing economy. But again, I want to say many thanks to the Honorable Mr. Sharma Rahim Solomon for getting the PPP to move expeditiously in correcting the issues with that road. All right. But let's get back to this list though. Elton Pyle, we have to protest. My brother, leaders don't want to protest. When people don't want to protest, it paints certain pictures. All right? No flash. Flash, how we gonna blame all the little parties? Like I said before, if you are the leader of a mass party, you have to be able to sell to pull everyone under your umbrella. You have to, look, this, we have to negotiate. One hand, it takes two hands to wash, right? You got to work with people. Yes, they may just be bringing 5,000 people to the table, but you still need to work with them. And how you work with them, that leader for the 5,000 people and that little party gonna go back and say, hey man, you know what? This leader was good to work with, man. He was so welcoming to us and everything and willing to sit down and talk with me. And you can't walk in like big boy. If you're walking like big boy and you want to act in dominant positions and all of these kind of things, you're going to finish third. You're going to finish third. I don't care how you look at it, you're going to finish third. Facts is facts. It just happened in 2025. We saw it with our own eyes. We cannot live like if we're blind. We have to make changes. Changes have to be made. Even if you don't want to make changes, your attitude has got to change. You got to get up every day looking to go and work. You have to be in the eyes of the people. How you want to be recognized? How you want people to be able to buy into your vision? With you not showing your face? Who are you? They're not going to respect you. And this is what we need to understand. Any leader, the installed president, these are all human beings. Leader of the opposition, leader of the PNC are all human beings. You want the votes of the electorate, you have to work for it. Especially in this time where money is being pushed out for votes. And not even that. The PNCR as a party needs to be out there trying to raise monies also. You don't wait until the year of election to start raising money. Start raising the money now. Hazel Johnson, criticism make you grow. If you cannot take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Absolutely correct. There's Lynn Wilson money buy out our people. And now they're suffering right now. Correct, Miss Wilson. Run the Tuesday. Egos plays a big part. All right, she mean egos plays a big part or played a big part in the failure. Of course, you have to be egoless. You have to be egoless. It cannot be all about you. It cannot be all about you. Lorraine Walcott, you know, you know what? And here's what Lorraine is saying. Y'all will be tearing down the PNCR just like y'all did before elections. Name one PPP program like this that bashes the PPP. Ladies and gentlemen, I am asking you guys a question. Am I bashing the PNC or am I bashing or am I exposing changes that needs to be made? All right. Miss Lorraine Walcott, if you pivot and you stay the way and you think the way that you're thinking, you're going to always finish third. Tell me what is going to catapult you to finishing first. You think the PPP is going to retire and say we are not running, let APNU finish first? You think Win is going to say we are running, let APNU lead? APNU had the best manifesto, Miss Walcott. We have highlighted all these things. All right? Look, I am an objective person. When APNU is on fire and they're doing well, I'm going to call it. All right? When they're cold, I'm going to let it be known. All right? When you talk about... So, you essentially what you're saying is that you want me to come and say, oh my goodness, look at the leader of the PNCR. Look what he's doing. What has he done? What has he done? Tell me. Tell me. 24 minutes after 8, ladies and gentlemen. 24 minutes after 8. Slavery is full-blown in Guyana, Miss Hazel Johnson. Well, Marvin Duncan, be encouraged, my people, this too shall pass. I believe in order for the people to be encouraged, Mr. Duncan, they got to see good, solid, robust leadership from top to bottom. You have 12 MPs that's going to be in Parliament for APNU. They are doing very well. But where they're coming from, that core group that are sending those 10 MPs to Parliament, there needs to be fundamental changes in that group. All right? You have to put an attractive product out there to be able to get the people to vote for you, especially, my brother, if you don't have the finances behind you. Especially. All right? Especially if you don't have the finances behind you. And yes, Carmel, we need biometrics, or we needed biometrics. We still need it because we never got it. All right? And a clean list. Carl is saying this. He knows this. He's been on the ground. He is saying, hence our reasons for failing miserably. What's the saying? To fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. When GCOM did not do a new house-to-house registration, put together a new list, and put biometrics with the list, that is when democracy was hijacked from the people of Guyana. What did the opposition do about it? Nothing really. They spoke about it on programs. Rhonda Lane and Kibaki Amsterdam got on the ground and tried to do something about it. Okay? They got on the ground. They were not supported immensely by any leader. Right? That's why a lot of people start calling out and saying, oh, the people is in cahoots and all this kind of stuff, because the people started getting frustrated. Right? They just weren't seeing an opposition that had the appetite to fight. And that's what we need to see in 2026. A fighting opposition, a fighting APNU. Look, Guyana is not going to move. It's not going to go anywhere without a strong APNU. I'm saying this tonight. Guyana is not going anywhere without APNU. Nowhere. We're going to continue to lose young people to violence. And we're going to continue to have a cowboy nation where the PPP is just taking care of the micro individuals, their family and favorites, family, friends, and favorites. Right? So basically what I'm doing, I'm just pointing out issues that needs to be addressed. Right? And the party needs to put forth a vision for the people. Look, you have the electorate out there, you know. If I'm looking and I'm seeing that, you know, the party's not putting out anything, don't you think that they're seeing? They're not dumb. They're not dunce. They can see. All right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 28 minutes after the hour. Colin Barnwell, the PPP in opposition, was more, boy, Colin, people don't like to hear this. But when Barry Jagdeo sat in opposition, oh, he was belling the cat. He was keeping the APNU on their toes. All right? He was keeping them on their toes. Colin Barnwell again, if you don't have followers, you're probably not a leader. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It's all about selling your vision. It is all about selling your vision. If you're selling your vision, you're going to have followers. If you're selling your vision, you're going to have followers. And the selling of your vision must start early. Don't wait. Why are you waiting? Oh, see Glenda Messmain, she said Mr. Norton hadn't the inside support to call any protest. Well, if that's the case, Glenda, well then a building cannot stand up if its support is not strong. Okay? So if Mr. Norton didn't have the support within the party, well then shame on the individuals who are there and support and supposed to support Mr. Norton. Shame on them. Jennifer Albert, I see a point. I'm not gonna say anything to your point because I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna pass it. But you have a point. Linda Horst, in Barnum time, we had little cell groups across the country, YSM, and other small groups. That's the way to go to win our people back. Yes, I agree with you, Miss Linda Horst. It will take a leader to come out and really make those points. You understand me? To get this done. Miss Lorraine Walcott, I'm not gonna call Congress, please. They are free to call me though. They are free to call me. Like I said, I'm not afraid of anybody. So if you want curse, you could curse. It's okay. It is okay. Right? But when I come to speak for the Guyanese people. Right? And the PNC wants to be relevant again. So there are some changes that the PNCR has to make in order to be relevant again. This is not the 70s. This is not the 60s. We are in 2026. It's a different type of politics. You either keep up or you're going to be out of the game. Okay? All right. Ms. Latchman, this is an excellent point. Why not have a one-on-one talk with Mr. Norton before coming on here and speak publicly? Mr. Norton is welcome to come here and let's address the issues in public so that the people can hear. The people would love to hear from Mr. Norton. They would love for him to come and sit down here with me and have an interview. I have a lot of questions that I would like to ask him. A lot. Okay? Miss Siobhan McDonald, what a great program this evening. Well, I can see, I can see, Miss McDonald, you intellectually understand what's going on here. Thank you so much. Miss Lachman Aziz, I am not trying to embarrass the PNCR in any way or form, but I believe if people in the public can call me and say certain things and speak to certain things with regards to the party, I believe that most of these issues are already public. All right? I just want them to come out in a public way and address it. That will show transparency with the electorate. They wouldn't be like the PPP who owns everything internally, but is stealing from the people. All right? It's better you come out and be transparent with the people. All right? That's what I believe. Come out and be transparent with the people. Just like I am. I'm out there, I'm being transparent. I'm speaking my truth. Right? I think I'm speaking what the Guyanese people needs to hear. This is not about the PPP. The PPP has done nothing for the people. But this is about us collectively building a robust opposition. This is about the PNCR recalibrating and coming back stronger with a new formula. Not the same formula that would have failed. A new formula. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time is upon us. I don't want to get in to problems with the executive producers. I know that we don't have a lot of time. I know sometimes you guys want more time for the program and everything, but, you know, don't worry. I'm going to work to see if we could get 2 shows on certain weekends, okay? All right. All right, Miss Lachman Aziz, why wash the dirty linen in public? All right, Miss Aziz, I'm going to say this, and you're a good friend of mine. I'm going to say this respectfully. Okay, I have been more of an asset to the PNCR rather than a liability. I'll just let it be that. All right? Suit your ego. I was on one member advised Mr. Norton to speak with all the small parties. Miss Walcott, you know something? I am absolutely egoless, man. I don't show no ego at all. When people that watches this broadcast call me, you can ask them. I pick up and I speak to them as long as they want to talk to me and as long as I have time. Okay? I am not one of those ego people. I don't even look at the views. I look at the comments so that if people have real important comments, I can address it the following week. And as you can see, as the program go, I look and I pick your comments. It's a two-way conversation. No, I don't think you need to have any question about my ego. That don't exist here. I don't have time for that. That doesn't make sense. It don't get you anywhere. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining this evening. Like I told you guys, grab your popcorn and everything, because sometimes people bumps are going to raise, but we got to make points. All right. We want betterment across the board. All right. The PNCR is got to get better. And I hope that they get better. Like I said earlier in this year, that I expect the PNCR to come back with a bang this year. All right. And we need to start seeing them out front. We need the leaders of the party to be more frontal. Until next Saturday, I love each and every one of you. Let's agree to disagree. All right. Until next Saturday, and Miss Lorraine Walcott, please feel free to reach out to the leader of the PNCR and tell him he's free to come on here next week and we can have a discourse. All right. Until next Saturday, over to you. Good night. Love you guys. Love you guys.